ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at texasmobilenotarymindy.com. That's TX, mobilenotarymindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today we got Justin Ottaway. Man, I messed up your last name again.
You're
Ottawa.
good, brother. It's Ottaway.
Ottaway. Okay, Ottaway.
Ottaway.
Now, he's my barber. We like at most barber shops, we ended up talking, and he ended up having a podcast, and he was like, well, how long have you been doing yours? I was like, wow. Now that I think about it, I think it's like 4 years now. And it's just repetition, and from what you're saying is you're just going out of pocket, and trust me, when I first started, I found these mics for your phone that you just hook up. It was like 2 mics, and you can like pin them on and record that way. That was like $13. That was my big expense at the time, because I eventually, I ended up getting more lucrative at my job to where I could spend more money. So
Oh yeah, but it's just one of those things. Humble beginnings, right?
oh God, yes. I mean, if you look at the first video I ever did was just sound, and the second one, and for lighting, I have like a decent sized TV at the time. It was like a 60-inch, and you can find on YouTube that's just white. So I just play that.
Made your own backlight with it?
Yeah, I made my own backlight with my TV.
Nice, man. Nice. You got to work with what you got.
Yeah. Each year I'd like, oh, I'm going to buy that. A lot of failures in it too, to where I was like this first soundboard I got a musical soundboard. It worked, but not as well as what I wanted. I knew what I wanted and needed, and someone it's like, well, if you do this, and a lot of people's like the reviews say, I'm like, but all the podcasters are using this one type. I guess I'll go with that. And
well, see, that's the hard thing is going by online and reviews. You're always looking, what do the reviews say? What does this say? And it's just like people will point so negatively towards something. It's not always about the product itself. It's just one little thing that set off the whole review.
Or the person just doesn't know how to use it. I've learned that.
Honestly, plenty of times on that.
Yeah. But tell me, how do you become a barber? Because I at one point in time, I didn't know there was a difference between a person that cuts hair at a salon and a difference between an actual legitimate barber.
Oh, most definitely, man. So, thank goodness when I went through barber school, they lowered the hours to 1,000. It used to be 1,500 hours in the state of Texas to get your barber's license.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. It was Monday through Thursday. It was supposed to be, I think, like 12 to 9, but because of COVID, we had to do the classroom work online. And we did 4 hours live in the shop. But the main difference between a barber and a cosmetologist is a straight razor. That is the only difference between the two.
And one is like an extra like 1,500 for that, just to do
No,
the.
so if you would want to become both of them, which there are plenty of people that are, it's more so cosmetologist becomes a barber so she can use a straight razor. It's 500 extra hours added on. So it'd be
Okay.
1,500 in total now.
Oh, okay.
They
Okay.
went down to 1,000, and let me tell you, I'm so grateful they did. I would have had another 6 months in there.
Oh wow. Now, what got you into being a barber?
Well, so my grandpa is a barber. I would technically, if you
I do
skip a
work with him.
generation, yes, I do. We own a shop together. He owns it. I just take the pride in saying I own it because it will be mine in 9 years when he retires.
Oh,
He
okay.
has 8 grandsons, and he wanted one to become a barber so they can take over the shop for him.
Yeah.
And I did all sorts of odd jobs from cowboying to maintenance worker. I was a correctional officer before I was a barber. And I got to the point where I'm like, hey, I am not happy. I'm not going to work in a good mood. I'm not coming home in a good mood. The whole time I'm off, I'm dreading going back to work. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I know the feeling. I did too. I was working at Allred for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I
And
was outside. I was an hour down the road over in Haskell. So,
oh,
and
okay.
it was a private facility, so they can cut a lot of corners at a private facility.
Really? Like,
Well, it's because a lot of it's like sweeping under the rug. It's not as watched by federal and state because we were I guess you call it like a halfway facility. They were awaiting court to get trialed and get their time and everything.
okay.
So we were low on numbers. Safety standards were low. You're walking down the hall. You don't have any type of protection, no spray, no stick, nothing. It's yeah, and I'm 5'7". At the time I was 160 pounds. Yeah, dude, those guys would devour me in there. So
Yeah, that. I mean, even as a correctional officer at the Allred unit, I mean, all we got was like pepper spray and or two fists. So
yeah, that's about it. It was just one of those things where like I said, I wasn't happy. I was just going to work arguing with people every day, man.
yeah,
And
that
I was thinking about, ways to succeed in life. And there's one person my whole life that's been there since I was a baby up until now. And that was my grandpa that I've never seen him struggle. He's always happy. He loves his job. He meets great people.
yeah.
And I was like, I've spent, it would have been 4 years ago, I started my adventure. So I was 5 years in of just, I should have done this 5 years sooner.
Yeah. But yeah, because I had the same thing happen to me when I was working corrections. Is like someone told me is like a new job in town, and they're like, "Hey, this job pays $20 an hour." I was like, "Really?" Just starting out off the bat, it was a temp job, but I was like, I got to get out of here. So I got out of there,
Mhm.
did the temp job. Then I started working up at the place I work now, and building up like repertoire to where I can get more money and everything at my job, just time in. And now I'm set. I don't have, a lot of extra payments like my child support drop. So I'm happy about that. Happy and sad because, she's old enough to take care of herself now. So,
Yeah, it's one of those things that, at any job, you're going to start off with, am I at a better place? And, you start without, it's like planting a seed. It's that little bit of hope that it's good. And you start working your way up, get better, you get more comfortable. Your life becomes more comfortable. And, next thing you know, that seed turns into a tree and you're like, yeah, this is it.
yeah.
I'm where I need to be. I'm not set. My biggest thing in the morning isn't shit, I got to go to work. My biggest thing is, well, damn, I got to roll out of bed. That's my hardest part of the morning right there.
Yeah. And that's the best part to where if you if you just realize that, because some people can't realize that. They can't realize the fact that all I have to do is just roll out of bed and go to a job and it's halfway decent. I've had people to where, I mean, when I was working up at AT&T, like I said, we're getting paid $20 an hour. People weren't showing up. I'm like, this job is, I mean, we were literally sitting on our butts at a TV, at a monitor, typing away and everything, and people couldn't handle that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is just a lot of people get these jobs and they expect to become rich overnight, and they don't realize that this is an everyday thing. This is, you got to get up, you got to go to work, you got to make it happen. And the sooner you integrate that into your mindset that this is life, this is all, this is a demand, this is a must have in life. I have to work, I have to make money. Your mind will start regulating that. But I think it's just a big problem with just in general society. A lot of it's just handouts. People want it then and now. They don't want to put in the effort to make everything better for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with like this. I still consider this a hobby, and hopefully, it pans out. But if anything, I get to meet and talk with interesting people, get a good conversation. That's the one thing I like about it, because I view it as just a hobby. If it turns out and I have to do like managerial stuff and everything, I'm gonna still like it. It's gonna take a couple of chips off of the fun part. That's the one thing
I understand. Like, that's one thing I like about my job being a barber is that it's always fun. They say, if you love your job, you don't feel like you're at work. And that's me. I'm cutting hair. I'm conversating. 10% of my job is actually cutting hair. 90% is being able to bullshit. Like, yeah. That's just the truth about being a barber. If you could get the best haircut in the world, but if you don't have a good conversation to go with it, you're not going to have somebody come back because it's stale air. You're sitting there and like there's an elephant in the room and you can't get it out. Like, you got to make people comfortable to come back and like, hey man, and I've had plenty of guys, they get a haircut and they're like, this isn't the haircut that's for me. And they'll come back just because a game of good conversation and a good time. And they'll say, hey, can we try something new? And, that just goes to show you the kind of effect that you have on people within the shop.
Yeah. It's also a good way to understand people, because that was the whole reason why I started the podcast and everything. I had some trouble stuff, nothing like, dire on my life, but I got depressed on certain things. And
no, it's understandable, brother. I mean, you got to sit out there and talk to other people, and even if it's not conversations that are directly linked into what's going on with you, a lot of people don't realize how much social interaction can help your mental stability.
Oh yeah. Even just talking to a person just helps. I mean, that's where it got me started. I was thinking about it it was one of those things that someone suggested. It was like, hey, why don't you? I mean, you're listening to all these podcasts. Why don't you start one? I was like, I'll look into it. And I looked into it. And I was like, it's not that bad. And then I started talking it over with a friend of mine that helped me got started, which he gets anxiety really bad. So he was a horrible host for that aspect. But he did it because he knew I was. That's why I love the guy for at drop of a dime, he calls me and is like, hey, I need some help for something. I'm there because he's like, this is your dream. We'll go with it and see how long it takes. And luckily I found other people that had helped me out with it. And I try to get them back on every once in a while. I was like, hey, what are you doing today? You want to come on the podcast? No, I don't like talking.
Well, I understand exactly how that is, because when I first started cutting hair, nobody, it's one of those things that this guy's fresh, straight out of the school. Does he know how to cut hair? And I had loyal people that would come to me all the time. When I was in barber school, I was cutting hair in my father-in-law's garage, and my wife's little cousin, dude's like my little brother. I love him to death. I'm blessed to see the past 10 years of his life. He's almost a grown man. He's 16 now, and all the time in barber school, he was my practice dummy. And dude, I botched his hair so many times, but I made a deal with him saying, hey, stick with me. Let me do this and learn. And he does not pay for a single haircut at all every time he walks into the shop because he did that for me. And I have a lot of friends that are, they go in as much as they can and they try to show support. And a lot of them, you hear a lot of, I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've been in. This has happened. This has happened. And I'm just like, dude, I said, doesn't matter how long it takes you in between. I said, I don't say it out loud, but internally you're like, you're grateful for it. I don't see it as an opportunity to make money. Don't get me wrong. Money's nice. It pays the bills. But in all reality, it's showing that these people actually genuinely care for your craft.
Yeah. Or just stepping up to your dreams. Really.
Exactly, man. Like, it was terrifying first going into when I was doing everything. It's a job that while you're in school, you don't learn how to cut hair. You learn how to run a shop. You learn how to stay sanitary. You learn state regulations and laws.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is all on you. My best friend was YouTube. YouTube helped me learn so much about cutting hair. It's unreal.
That's one thing that kind of upsets me about your shop, though, because I've been seeing some of those YouTube videos, and we've been talking about it when you're cutting my hair, and I don't get chiropractic stuff. You don't massage my face, moisturizing and everything. I had to do that stuff on my own, and if I go to the barbershop, I expect that. Why?
Just get the full work, just elbow down on there, just really working it in, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do at the shop, and it was nothing like over the top. We don't do straight razor shaves, and a lot of that comes down to general society right now is so if I get cut or say I get an ingrown shaving and it gets infected, I can lead it back to your shop and sue you. That's happened so many times. And we actually have to carry, I want to say it's like $100,000 worth of liability insurance.
Yeah.
Just in case something were to happen. So we don't do that. We still shave around the ears and the neck. That's like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there's, like I told my grandpa, I wanted to, one big thing that's coming into men hygiene that, 10 years ago wasn't big was men take care of their eyebrows now. A lot of them will get them waxed or get them plucked and all that. I told my grandpa, hey, I want to get a wax machine. I want to be able to do that. Love my grandpa to death. Biggest supporter, number one fan, but he is old school till the day he drops. He will not have any waxing in there, anything like that. And I understand. I mean, it's your shop. I'm going to abide by your rules because I am blessed enough for you to put a home over my head to where I can work. You don't bite the hand that's feeding you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it so many times, but a lot of it right now is he's learning from me as much as I'm learning from him. I've learned old school stuff from him. Like, dude, you can't find more than 3 shops in town that can give a military flat top. You cannot find that anymore. No, it's going out, man. It's and a lot of the barbers now use these flat top combs, which is comb as wide as my hand sits on top, and you just run the clippers and done. We do old school flat tops. You give me a comb, I do everything. I blow dry it up, make it stand straight up, and I sculpt that thing with a comb in my hand. And I learned from him doing old school haircuts. He taught me the pompadour, which is the old Elvis up in the front, slicked back kind of look. But from me, he's learning, you have what's called a burst fade, which is skin around the ear, like right here. And then it fans out like a fade. Yeah. He's learning what drop fades are. He's learning new styling techniques up top from me. And it's nice for me to know that he's old school, but the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is really just a misinterpretation because he's, like I said, we feed off each other, and it's a great energy to have in the shop, especially the fact that it's my grandpa. And I'm just like, hey, I'm teaching my grandpa something. That's not somebody a lot of people can say.
Yeah. And man, wait, there's a lot of stuff. It's like the stuff I learned from my grandfather was just mechanical stuff. And I ended up gave me a crap car for free. It was a 1978 Impala.
Oh, dude, nice.
Not really. I had to, the reason why I had to get rid of that car because my mom drove it for a little bit, and she ended up catching it on fire. I say
Oh
she caught
man.
it on fire, but in all reality, I caught it on fire because I was changing out the fuel filter, and I forgot to tighten it down, so the engine caught fire.
Oh man.
Yeah, luckily,
Hey, but it's one of those things though that car that he gave you taught you some stuff that you could use later on in life.
Oh yeah, you give it. That's one thing that I would love. It's one thing that's. I mean, you really can't do it with like newer cars that much anymore.
Oh, not
Luckily,
at all.
it was at a time frame to where, I mean, that engine block was big, but the inside, you can get around in it and everything. I mean, a friend of mine had like a Toyota Corolla, and I was the only one able to work on that car because at the time I was like $130. And I can just go around the whole vehicle with my arms and everything, getting those little crevices. But what it taught me, hey, I don't have to take this to a mechanic to fix. I mean, the only time I took it to a mechanic to get something fixed was the muffler had bent, and I needed a new muffler. And that was actually pretty cheap for the time. But it was just one of those.
Compared to getting something like that now, it's everything's ridiculous now paying for it, man.
Dude, I got scared when because I needed a new battery. So I drove it I got it to the point where I could get it to AutoZone so I could just, take out the battery real quick and pull out that battery. And I talked to the guy. It's like, okay, I just need a battery. I knew it wasn't the alternator. I knew it wasn't the starter. It was the battery. It would start, but it wouldn't start really fast. So I just knew it was the battery. And he was looking online. He was looking through his shop for that year of the vehicle, all that stuff. And he's like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna have to take it to a Volkswagen place." I was like, "Why?" And I guess the newer batteries, you have to literally have it hooked up to a new one of their machines just to change out the battery.
Really?
It has to reset the entire computer or a PC.
Oh, good Lord, man.
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
And even at that, you get that receipt and you're like, you sure this is right? Like, this is, like a couple $100. It's crazy, man. I had a battery go out on me last November. I was going to Santa Fe for a week to visit my buddy. The morning I left, my car was having trouble starting. Went to go get gas. Didn't start at all. Called Grandpa, said, "Hey, man, can you come jump me off?" He said, "You're lucky. We're on our way out of town right now, and I can drop by real quick." Jumps me off, go to AutoZone. Like, yeah, it's going to need a new battery. So I just had my vacation funds at the time. And I'm like, well, here goes a trip to whatever, just throw $300 under the hood for a piece of plastic. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dude, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It really is getting crazy out there with the, luckily the battery that I have in my vehicle, it was only like 130. So it wasn't that bad.
At the time, if I would have known that I was going to get a new vehicle within the next year, I would have gotten the cheaper battery for sure. But at the time, I was just like, I'm going to run this thing till the wheels fall off, put a new one in there.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, can you give me like 10 seconds? I got to put these dogs outside real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how nowadays, I mean, even right now they're putting in, and this is the whole reason why my brother-in-law bought this. I think he got an 80s Chevy truck. It is the 80s or 70s. He bought a older vehicle so he can get it up and running and everything as a just in case truck because I think 2025, I believe, all standard vehicles have to have a kill switch on them.
Oh, no joke.
Okay. There's a reasoning for it. It sucks. And I understand the reasoning for it. But, it's still, it's a good idea, but bad people can still get a hold of that stuff and stop your vehicle if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost see that there's going to be a scam saying that, hey, we stopped your vehicle. you're gonna have to give us X amount of dollars, or it won't get unstuck. I could see that scam coming up, but the whole reason,
dude, it's not even scams. Like actual companies are already doing that. Look at Tesla. Tesla's
well,
like, hey, you're 2 days behind on your payment. Your car is going to be inactive, and you cannot even turn it on. And then if you don't do your payment a couple more days, our car is going to take its happy ass and drive right back to our facility.
has that actually happened?
That's how that from what I've heard and read online, that's actually like Tesla's go-to. Like you don't have to pay a middleman of a repo if your car can drive itself back.
That is true.
Like, and Elon Musk is like, he is so anal about how a Tesla operates. There's no modifying in them or anything. What you got is what you get. Like, I watched a video. This guy was trying to refurbish a Tesla with older Tesla parts, and it will not. It will shut it down completely.
Oh, there's ways around it, but you got to learn how to program. There's a congressman, and he was just on Tucker Carlson. He took a Tesla battery and reprogrammed everything on that battery to power his house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, he has as a congressman, his farm, I guess you would call it, is total self-sufficient. He doesn't go through the power company, doesn't go through the water company, sewage, trash, and everything. He doesn't use anything from the county.
See, I'm telling you, like, this is just me personally. Guys like that are some of the best ones you can listen to because, like, you're not, living like that. They're really not in the pocket of anybody because there's not all these fabulous luxuries that are coming into his farm out there. It's just like, hey, here's free power and free everything else. Do a little something for us.
He says he barely even goes to the grocery store because he raises his own cattle and
dude, that
and everything.
I'll die on the hill that's the kind of people we need. We need working men that have actually worked to be running our society because they know what it's like.
Yeah. But that is the strangest thing to hear from people nowadays is just after the whole 2020 pandemic stuff is a lot of people are going out and they're doing their own stuff. I mean, I know people that started asking me, is like, well, how do you skin a deer? I'm like, you skin it. I'm not thinking it's like you just skin a deer. How do you not know? It's one of those things. It's like, I know how to do it. Why don't you know how to do it? But then I just realized half the time it's like, this is teachable knowledge. Ask questions, and that's how.
Well, yeah, it's a whole saying that don't be afraid to be the dumbest one in the room because it leaves you the most opportunity to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like you said, especially after the whole bullshit past couple years we had being locked down and everything, people are doing stuff more themselves. Family-owned businesses and small businesses have skyrocketed. People are learning how to. What's up?
I thought they went down for. Well, I know some of the small businesses.
Well, a lot of people so what you can classify as small business doesn't actually have to be like a shop. Like, like I have a barber shop where you go to a family-owned general store. Small businesses consist of people making a living on Etsy and all sorts of other crafts. And if you're making money and you can live off of it, that's a business.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you're seeing a lot more people got into woodcraft. People have gotten into a lot of jewelry makers are out there now. Dude, since the pandemic, you know how many candle people I've seen like make different types of candles and everything? Like there's people have found a way. Hey, I can't work and make money. I got to figure it out myself and make my own money.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Because there's a lot of t-shirt companies out now and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, me doing this is considered if I ever get paid and make my money back. But yeah, this is considered a small business. It's one of those things is the small business you think is just like a mom and pop shop most of the time or a family owned restaurant.
Yeah, so, and a lot of the times it's like, you know, that's what people classify a lot of small businesses as, or something I can get a direct product out of. I can go in and out because people correlate business with a building. Uh, you know, like I have, like my lawn, for example, I don't mow my own lawn. One of my buddies has his own lawn service, and I would rather go to him and employ him because it puts food on his table. You know, everything can be a business if you appropriate it the right way and utilize it the correct way.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So when the nah, sorry, I'm still tired. I haven't slept since yesterday, so
You're good,
bear
brother.
with me a little bit. So cowboying. What did you do? Like, you worked on a ranch?
Worked at a feedlot. I was doctoring cattle, uh, man, feeding them, dragging the dead ones out, tending to the pens, just pretty much ranch hand work, man. The only
Okay.
thing that I did not do was get on a horse, and that's just a personal thing with me. It is a very smart creature, and if it wants to throw me off at any moment, it can. And I'm not trained enough to know what the hell to do. So
You're not.
the closest I got to it, we had a little donkey with a burlap little thing would throw over, and I'd hop on that donkey's back, and I'd go like 3 miles an hour just chilling, bro.
You're missing out. I've rode horses for a while. The only thing you're not missing out is doing a rodeo. I went.
Oh man,
Uh, I worked for like 2 weeks when I was in the Air Force on a ranch in Abilene, and the rodeo was in town, and they're like, "Hey, you know your 2 weeks is up. You wanna ride in the rodeo? We'll get you. We'll give a sum up of uh doing a bunking Bronco." I was like, "Oh, that sounds fun." What is and I never really did the rodeo scene in Wichita Falls. I always like, okay, the rodeo's in town, yay! And I saw like bunking Bronco stuff. People do it, and I was like, well, I could at least try it out because I'll at least try everything at least once on something. There's certain
oh
things,
definitely.
but I, I didn't break them. I fractured a lot of my ribs off the first shot. And I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
You're like, and the thing is, like rodeo in Texas, like a lot of people don't realize it. If there's two things that in Texas that people love, it's football and rodeos.
Oh yeah,
You know, it's like I'm not originally from Wichita. I'm from a town down the road, Seymour, and it's
yeah.
a small
Nowhere.
country town, dude. And the rodeo is just like that's the biggest event all year. People will go from all around and go to it, and it's always fun. I wish they would have kept Mexican poker in the rodeos. They had
What's
to
Mexican?
take them out. Mexican poker is where you get guys sitting around a table and they're playing poker in the middle of the
Oh,
yep, and they let the bull out.
oh,
You let the bull out, and then last man holding the cards wins. And they had to stop doing that. You know, it's pretty obvious why you had to stop doing that. But
there's no
and
safety reason for you to stop that. It's perfectly safe.
oh yeah, of course it is, man.
I think okay, hold on. I'll bring it up. We'll bring it up real quick. And I'm probably going to use it tomorrow for nerd sports. Let me see if I can get.
And then another cool one they swapped out for it is the bull riding teeter totters. If you've seen those,
Bull riding teeter totter.
yeah, they got. So what they do is they have these teeter totters, like a seesaw as a kid, and they
Yeah.
have them in a cross. So there's two right here and two right here, and you let out a bull. And the whole thing is to kick up, and the other guy goes down as the bull's coming to get him out of the way. And this whole thing is like on a center pole. So they're going side to side, up and down, just moving away from this bull. And I'm like, this is what we need to see more at rodeos. If you had people doing this shit right here, you would have a crowd, dude.
Okay, here we go. This is
There we go.
This is oh man. This is a IPE. An Armstrong, BC. This is so ridiculous. Man, yeah. I can
Well, dude,
see why.
it's like to me, it's one thing to get out there, just to even get out there and sit down. The whole reason these guys can't even get up in the first place is because their balls are so heavy, made of steel, that they can't stand up quick enough, dude. Like this right here is a whole different level.
Oh, damn! I'm definitely using this tomorrow.
This guy right here, he's out of there after he won, bro. Look at that.
I won. I'm out of here.
Oh, dude, the best thing about that video is the plastic chairs. It really adds in the whole thing, and when they just snap on them.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
dude.
hilarious.
I wish they had more of that because, like, I love if it's halfway through the rodeo, I'm already like a good 7-8 beers deep, and I am just feeling it. And watching the bull riders, that is all the hype there is in the world, man. You're just sitting out there screaming.
Yeah, I like watching, but after I was like a couple of friends of mine, they're like, it's one of those things you can just boast about. It's like, oh, I'm tough because I got in this fight, or I'm tough because I did this, and I go, and my military career, I was a cook. Hands down, I had 2 engagements because I've been to Afghanistan, but it was only for like 2 weeks. I was going over there to fix something, and I was coming back. And the other engagement was just accidental too, because I was just picking up donuts, and there was a drive-by in Kuwait, and it was just the
wrong place, wrong time, right there.
Yeah, it really was. But they're like, oh, I'm tough. I can take a hit. I was like, I don't think you can take a really good hit. And they're like, oh, you think you're tough enough? I was like, no, not me, but a horse. I did bucking Broncos, and yeah, no, I don't want to do that ever again. I mean, I know I'm not tough. Those guys over there, they're tough because they can take a couple of hits and they still keep on going.
Dude, definitely. You see them get tossed 10 foot up in the air and just land and just walk it off, and you're like, there was one guy, man, what was he? I think he rode broncs. He had one go back on him, snap his back.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember his name.
Let me see.
Was it Luke something? No, that was the bull rider.
Oh, no, you're thinking of the bull rider that passed away?
Yeah.
Lane Cross?
Yeah, okay, Lane Cross, yeah.
Yeah, this cowboy, JB Mooney. It's JB, last name EMAUNEY.
Yes, I remember.
Listen to this guy talk about his story. He breaks his back in a rodeo, legit able to get up and walks off and tell them, call me an ambulance. I broke my back. And like, what? He's like, yeah, my back's broken. Dude's just casual about it and walks it off. Like, Cowboys are a different breed of fucking tough, dude. There's no way. Like, if I broke my back, I'm about to cause a scene out there. You're getting a stretcher. You're getting a dude in a Polaris, putting me on the back. That dude right there. Yeah. That is one of the toughest son of a guns out there.
Yeah. I mean, you look at him, you're like, oh, man, I could take him. And then you start reading his back. It's one of those things, you start reading his background and everything. I was like, I went to do I don't know if I told you this when we're sitting down, but I went to it's called honor flights. Uh-huh. Basically, what they do is they take veterans and they take them to Washington D.C. and they go to the memorials. And it's a fun event for everybody. But there's this guy there. He was from World War II, and he flew gliders. I was like, gliders? Well, modern technology, you can look it right then and there. So I looked it up right then and there, and I watched videos of them and everything. What they called them, these gliders, was flying coffins for a reason.
Oh shit!
Most of the people that were in them died. It was basically a suicide mission. And my dad loved him to death. He most of the times he comes up with like something smart aleck, then he just puts his foot in his mouth when he does it, especially when I'm around and I can block him on that stuff. And he comes up and is like, man, can you imagine being that old, being in that wheelchair? I'm like watching these videos as he says that. And he's like, man, can you imagine being that age and being in a wheelchair? I was like, Dad, the reason why he's in that wheelchair is because his balls are fucking heavy right now and he cannot stand anymore. He's like, what do you mean for that? I was like, and then I showed him the video. I was like, that's what he was doing. I was like, yeah, he was a pilot in one of those. Because you don't have to be for the gliders, you don't have to have like be an officer or anything. You can be a NCO. NCOs are just, you know, the grunts of military.
Yeah.
And I showed him that, and he's like, and all the videos are just all the accidents that happen. They don't have like real footage. They've had like very small amount of footage of the gliders actually landing properly, because they can carry, I think it was like 17 men on the glider, because it's like a B2. It was almost kind of the size of B2. The only thing it didn't have is the engine and the propeller, and it was still made of like wood and whatnot, fabric. But you could carry like a Jeep in there and a couple of people in there and everything, and it would fly. And you can do that real quick, and bam, they'll land, and you're stuck there because you can't get back into another airplane because it was all towed in. And I'm like,
it was just a one-way trip.
Yeah, it was a one-way trip. That's it.
Oh man, like I see that right there, and you said World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have some of these guys that they're young, they're plucked straight into it. And it's like, hey man, you're gonna be doing this right here, and like, okay, it's just like at the shop I meet a lot of these kind of guys. No World War II vets, they're far and few in between now. God bless their souls, but
I mean, we got probably right around about like a handful nowadays.
Yeah, like I have one guy I know that he left to the war because he lied about his age.
Yeah.
Just so he can get out of his dad's house. And it's crazy. All these older gentlemen I talk to that have really seen war, and I'm talking like, a lot of them were in Vietnam and everything. They are the most humble, nicest people you will ever meet in your life. It's because they saw the worst in humanity. And I think a lot of that, it humbles your soul. You go home, you go to work, and you're like, yeah, life's not that bad. It's actually really damn nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes you find out of the time frame where they because they'll talk about some stuff. It's like I had one guy, he was talking about I think he was up at Fort Sill, and he was talking to one of the vets that been there for like the longest time. He was like, yeah, it's too bad that they changed this base all they did. And he was like, what do you mean they changed the base? He's like, well, the people of other ethnic culture was on one side of the base, and the other one was the Caucasians, if you understand what I'm saying. And he used different terminology. And and the guy was like,
I hear a lot of that in the shop, man.
And he was like, dude, I'm a E freaking 7. And I was halfway. Oh man, you served, you did your job, you did this and that. And then he says that, and like, I didn't know what to do with him. I either I wanted to punch him. But I knew I couldn't. I'd probably kill him. I had to walk away. Like, you made the good call, buddy. You made the good call.
Oh yeah. One old boy, he goes in the shop, love talking to him. He was in Vietnam, and I forgot what he called it. It was pretty much equivalent to like special forces and everything. He's like, I came home. I'm not sure, something. He showed me photos of like when he was younger, like, all these training and all that stuff. And he's like, I got done with it. Was going to re-enlist, wanted to realists outside of Vietnam, and they said if I did, they're going to send me back. So I just went home. He said, I wanted no part. And they said, I've seen enough. I've done enough. I've done stuff that keeps me up at night to this day. And, talking to him, just like, I applaud you for even being able to do what you do daily. It's a lot of mental stress and toll that it has, especially on them older men that, not saying it's any easier these days, but human minds today are a little bit more, I'm not going to say open to stuff. We're actually degenerated now because we went through the days of the internet of, you had stuff like the Pain Olympics and, all these gory websites, and you saw all this stuff live, and it decentralizes the human mind to seeing all this.
Yeah.
Compared to back then, this guy shot a man. That's the first time he's ever seen anything like that in his life.
Yeah, because all they had was like radio.
That's it, man. So it's a lot more of a shock to them. Like, not saying it'd be any easier for someone to go through it today, but it'd be one of those things like, oh wow, that happened. I saw like a human brain on the internet when this happened from a cartel video or something.
It's something a little bit different from actually, I mean, seeing it on the internet than actually seeing it in real life. It's something just totally
Oh yeah. Well, it's just like when I was a correctional officer, craziest thing happened is they would sneak drugs into the facility through mail. They would get certain drugs and they would mix them as a liquid, and they would spray them on a letter they would send in. They would have code on the outside from their people. They would know the code. Okay, well, here's the word, let's just say banana. I'm going to cut banana out of this letter, shred it up because I know that's the word with all the drugs sprayed on it. Well, this guy was on methamphetamines, decided to mix it with tea and smoke it. And I came in, and I'm not joking. His arm from here down, he filleted it, like had a strip missing from his skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when I walked in, we had to slam him on the ground because he had his fingers in there, like trying to pull tendons. God.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. No. And I'm just like, we get him locked up. Everything's done. I'm filling out my report. They're like, yeah, we got to send you to the hospital. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, no, you got blood on you. We got to send you to the hospital. Bloodborne pathogens. Like, you could have a small cut on your finger, like a hangnail, and it could touch that. And now you're at risk for Lord knows what they have.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I go to the hospital, get my blood drawn, go back to work. And my LT walks up to me. He's like, yeah, Ottaway, you can go home. I was like, did I do something wrong? I was like, I know I was in an incident, and I thought I acted accordingly by putting him on the ground. I said, no, you're fine. He said, just go home and just relax. He said, you're off for the next 3 days anyways. I got paid for the rest of the shift, which is like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And, at the time, it didn't click to me. Why did he send me home? A couple hours goes by, adrenaline comes out, and it's in my head that what I saw, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I think the worst thing that happened on my shift, I mean, I had, cutters and everything, nothing that well, I had a lot worse on my shift. It wasn't even the guy's fault. It was actually the officer's fault. What happened? See, we had a new female officer. She was working high security. I wasn't working anywhere in the area. I was just one of the roamers. And I got a call. It's like, hey, you got to go to high security right now. We need people, lots of people. I was like, okay. I guess someone got out. I mean, high security, everybody's staying in their freaking cell. Mm-hmm. So I get out there, and what had happened is the guy was trying to light some stuff on fire in his cell. Well, the female officer freaked out, so she gassed him, and she used the pepper spray. Pepper spray is still oil, so it's flammable.
Oh man,
up, and I'm not talking like lit him up. She lit him up. So I had to.
Holy shit! And then that oil, that pepper spray sticks on you pretty much like it's on you. It's not like you can just rub it off. The more you rub it, that oil's seeping in.
Yeah. Well, we got him doused. We got him on doused, but the only problem is we got the bed set up to where we can put him on, and I couldn't grab onto him. His skin was just falling off. So
man.
I literally had, luckily I had gloves. I was fully secured and everything. So I got him, and I had to like catch, I had to dig into his meat and just move him. I found something to grab a hold of, and it was his bone, unfortunately. And I put him on the, yeah, I put him on the thing. He was screaming. So no matter what we were doing, he was screaming. But we got him to the hospital. I think he died from shock. And
I wouldn't doubt it, man. Like, oh, God, that sounds
that was one of the
brutal.
worst. Yeah, that was one of the worst ones that I had to deal with. But to this day, when anybody's like, I had one guy in the podcast, he was talking about someone like doing like, I mean, even when you were talking about, guy was into it, I felt that because I did that on accident. Well, not really. I had to do it. We're doing all our, because if that's the problem with working security like that, is if it shows at any point in time that you just stood there and did nothing, you could be part of a crime.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And like, that's one thing that got to me. I was just like, you're acting on your feet so much. You're constantly at this state. I'm not going to call it a state of peril because you're not in a fight or flight, but your mind is automatically, you're tuned in so much that you don't know how to relax because you can't in that situation. It's.
Yeah. I was like, because my daughter said it. She's like, you're the one person I know in my life that I feel safe with because you're always looking around. Why is that? And I told her exactly what I did for a living for a couple of places, just security work and whatnot. And she's like, "Oh, that's the reason why you're always looking around." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking around corners. And I had one guy like, his name is Patrick Kilpatrick. He does charity events down in Dallas every once in a while with a person with it. He was in Minority Report, the TV show Chuck. But I was hanging out with him, getting him to point A to point B. And he's like, "Man, you're always looking around. I mean, I've never seen anybody head on a swivel. I mean, you say you're military. Did you like do like really cool stuff?" And I was like, "No, dude, I did security after the fact. I was a cook in the military." He's like, "What kind of security? What are you like, working for the company?" I'm like, "Company? What do you?" "Oh, no, I wasn't CIA, dude. I did private contracts for like security work for a couple of people, and I worked corrections." He's like, "Oh, is that why you're like you're always like looking around and everything?" It's like, "Yeah, you never know when anything's coming." And I also down in Dallas and everything, I carry. I mean, I carry around town too, but
Yeah, dude. I'm one of the biggest believers in the Second Amendment. It's the whole thing. What's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. It's.
I'm not afraid of people. It's the nature factor. I'm really terrified. I can talk. I've talked down more people that were in front of me going, "Hey, I'm going to kick your ass." And I'm just like, "Why?" "Well, because of XYZ." And I just, just ask questions like, "Why are you going to do that?" "Well, you're trying to, get me away from kicking your ass." I was like, "No, I'm just wondering why I'm getting this beat down." No, I'll accept it. And after a while, they're like, "It's like you have no life." I was like, no, it left me a long time ago. And then we'll share a beer or something like that, and enjoy our lives. And this just happened like 2 to 3 weeks ago. I was doing my run around. I was coming from Seymour Road to Seymour Highway. I just run around the block, get hit up on McNeil, and run around. Dude, if it wasn't at 2:00 in the morning when I was doing it, I would probably have cops. I fired like 5 or 6 rounds. Baby rattlesnake like whizzed right around me.
Oh shit!
I was. Luckily, the gunfire, when it blasted, hid the girlish screams. Because I was screaming like a little girl doing it.
Well,
Too.
dude, what a lot of people don't realize, especially people that aren't native to southern U.S., baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than the adults.
Oh yeah, they don't know
Yeah,
how to
they
hit them.
exactly. So like one bite from those and that's done. No, dude, I grew up in the country. Like I know exactly how it is with the rattlesnake. If I don't have something on me, like I'm gonna find the next biggest thing, and if it's within 5 feet of me, that's all there is. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, little dude, you had your life, but I'm terrified for mine.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That is the that is the one thing. I'm more terrified of nature itself because I can't talk to nature, but
Exactly.
I can talk to people.
Oh, I know the feeling, dude. My biggest two fears in the world are spiders and bees. I
You
got bit
serious?
by a black widow. Yeah, dude. I got bit by a black widow back in 2017
Okay.
and ruined 2 weeks of my life. Worst migraines ever. They produce a neurotoxin,
Yeah.
and this thing latched onto me twice. They took the blood work. Yeah, because I swatted it, and then I guess it bit again right on the forearm right here, like 2 times.
Oh,
And dude, it was the worst thing in the damn world. And then bees, I had it's like 176 stingers pulled out the back of my head.
oh shit.
Yeah, I was scrapping metal, and this dude had this plot of land. He's like, I want to farm it. There's a whole bunch of metal out here. I was doing side weekend work for this old boy, so I could have some, a little bit of spending money. He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're gonna go out to this land. We're gonna scrap it." And he was in a skid steer, closed cab, AC on. I'm out here burning my ass off, throwing pipe in the trailer, and I have my headphones in. Well, he has this big old claw on the skid steer, crushes this metal shed. This metal shed, Lord knows it hasn't been touched in years, was one giant beehive. So I feel this little thing hit my ear and I swat it. And then something else swatted again. And then about two or three things. So I was like, dude, what the hell's going on? So I pull my headphones out. It's just like it from the Mummy. I'm not shitting you. You look
Oh.
up and there's just this dark cloud approaching you. Like I can see through, it's like this faint smoke. And I'm just hearing the sound of thousands and thousands of bees flying at me. So I take off sprinting. At the time, I had longer hair slicked back, wearing a hat. And what bees do is bees can actually see heat sources. So they will get around a heat source and they suffocate and like another insect, like a hornet or something. Where
Yeah.
you're outside working, my head is the heat source. So I'm sprinting, pulling out clumps and clumps of bees. And I finally find a tank. I take one big ass breath and I dive. And I'm under there for like a minute, heart's pounding. And the cool water of the tank, all the stingers on my head, sent it ablaze. So I swim as far as I can to the other side of the tank. Boss pulls up in the truck, puts me in, takes me to the hospital. And I'm just screaming. They give me morphine for the pain. I am still just bloody murder in there. And so they ended up giving me Dilaudid. Give me some of that. I was coasting a little bit, still felt the pain. Had to give me an anti-anxiety because of my heart rate. And then they couldn't burn my head to pull the stingers out because you would have all these little birds next to the stingers. You wouldn't know what's what. So after about 5 hours of them picking at my skull, there's this little dish. It looks like it has just like chia seeds all in it, dude. And it was just stingers piled on each other.
Oh.
So to this day, I respect bees. Bees are one of the most essential parts of nature, but stay the hell out of my way because I will swat you.
Yeah, because I'm the same. I'm a highly allergic to bees. And every time I see like they have like there's this one the woman got like the honeycomb was inside the walls of this house and they wanted to transfer it. She's not wearing like a bee outfit or anything. She's like, there's the queen. We'll put that right there. And we'll just grab
blonde, skinny
I'm
chick.
Like, huh?
Was it a blonde skinny chick?
Yes.
I think I know the video, dude. She's like just barehanded, like
anxiety as much as it did me.
Dude, I'm just like there ain't no way in hell. Like I don't care. Like if you stay calm, they stay calm. That's the thing, my boy. I ain't staying calm worth the damn. I'm freaking the hell out.
Yeah, I was sitting in my car and I was like looking around because I kept on hearing the buzzings. I was like, my anxiety is hitting like high gear right now. Spidey senses are going off. I need to get. And I can just picture because the guy there, one of my other coworkers, like usually parks in front of me. He's like looking at me, looking around and everything, and I'm like, oh, I just need to flip out the video. And then we talk after when we're going back to work. He's like, what was wrong with your car, man? You were like flipping out in there. I was like, and I told him what happened. He's like, oh yeah, no, because he lives on a farm for a while too, and he's the same way. He's like, yeah, you don't mess with bees, you don't mess with
Oh
nature.
no, dude. No,
Nature.
like I was at our old house. I had it was like an efficiency home / shed in the backyard. So I
Yeah.
was back there doing some work. I was what was I doing? I was planting some flowers for my wife in these pots. And then next thing you know, she looks outside. All the pots are outside. Everything's outside. And I'm outside working. She said, why aren't you in the shed? I said, oh, there's a bomb in there. She said, a what? I said, yeah, a fumigation bomb. Why are you fumigating the shed? I said, I saw a spider. She said, instead of killing it, you went to Home Depot, bought an insect bomb, and set it off in there. I said, yeah, because next time I go in there ain't going to be a single damn spider in there.
You know they have flamethrowers up at Home Depot too, right?
Oh, gee, I wish. I wish. Oh, you had no clue. When the Boring Company dropped their flamethrowers, I was like a day late on ordering one.
Oh, really?
Dude, I wanted one so bad.
I was looking at that, and then they came out with because you can get one for like, I forget the reasoning why they say you can order these. Is something to do with like grass or something.
Oh,
like
dude,
that.
we live in Texas. All you gotta do is put on the reasoning, brush control. Boom.
Yeah, which is, I mean, they just it was Mexico. They just had that. They were doing a controlled brush fire, and the hue on Mexico City now is really bad because they couldn't control it.
Well, see, that's a lot of people need to do it more than they don't. I mean, heck, look at California catching fire because they didn't control it.
Yeah, but
I mean, no, man. But yeah, so nature, I respect nature. Don't mess with it. If I could get a flamethrower and take him out, I would have the time of my damn life. My only thing is, I got stung 176 times and didn't get one damn superpower out of it. I thought I was going to come out like Spider-Man or something, fly or some cool shit. Nope, just a $2,000 hospital bill. There you go.
Someone did that to me too, because I'm not scared of spiders. That's one thing. I was like, there's this whole theory of mine that I have is like, if you're scared of spiders, you're not scared of snakes. But if you're scared of snakes, you're scared of spiders. It's a weird thing.
Oh no, it's not far off. I'm not scared of rattlesnakes, but I'm scared of the potential a rattlesnake can have.
Yeah.
But like any other snake, like a garden snake or a bull snake or something, I'll go grab it.
Yeah. It's in the Bible. Anything that slithers on the ground, it's no good for you. So I believe in that.
Fair enough.
But I had the spider, and apparently the woman that I was with up at the state fair, she saw the spider. I was like, she's like, don't move. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? What's happening? You have a spider on your shoulder. I'm like, what shoulder? She's like, right here. And she flicked it off. I was like, did you check and see if it was a radioactive spider? No. Are you you didn't check? You didn't check that? I want spider powers. It could happen. Dave, that's only in comic. I was like, are you sure?
I was talking to my buddy about that because we're talking about like, if you could have superpowers, what would you have? And I was like, I wouldn't have Spider-Man's powers. My favorite superhero. I said, but we live in Wichita Falls. What in the hell am I going to swing from? I'm going to be running from crime to crime.
I like how they did that in the first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. They answered that question because he was going through the urban area and everything like that. He's like, I guess I'm running.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's just the practicality of it. Like, I don't know. I told him, I said, love Spider-Man. But the other thing is, like, I told him, I said, a lot of people see superheroes like, how cool it'd be to have super strength or this, and that. I'm like, it'd be awesome. But the problem is, like, say you're to come across a genie, and the genie's like, yeah, you can wish for anything. Well, I wish you had super strength. Well, you didn't wish for super durability, so have fun with that one right there.
I beat that one. I beat that one really fast. One wish and I'm good. I wish I had the abilities of a Kryptonian.
Oh, dude, that would be because there ain't no kryptonite. You got the sun right there. You're set.
Yeah, like you can fly, invulnerable. I mean, you get weird power sets every once in a while.
Chill in
Yeah,
the sun, just get even stronger, bro. Like
yeah.
they had that. I don't know how long ago it was. They had that one comic with Superman where he's fighting this villain called the World Breaker, and he puts him like in the middle of darkness and nowhere. So Superman's just flying and flying forever. And then he goes through a sun, flies through a sun, gets powered up, flies through like hundreds of suns, and becomes just like a whole different Superman because all like the
Yeah,
I don't know if it's UV radiation.
I know which one you're talking about. I've read that issue. It was like Justice League something. Man, I can't remember it. But I know what you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, the whole story was like the world breaker had Batman I guess more of a punishment to Superman, put him on that place where he couldn't get any yellow sun. It was like on some kind of moon. But
Yes.
Batman made like a pathway for him.
World Forger. That was the comic books. World Forger, and you put him out there, and like he ended up what was like taking over the Justice League and all that. Your typical DC stuff. Here's a big bad villain. He's going to try to infiltrate the Justice League. Like we see it all the time. They had a Flash clone, alternate dimensions. It's happens all the time.
Yeah. Which one are you reading right now? Because I think the one I'm reading right now is because they're bringing back the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, no joke. No, yeah, right now. So with comics, I haven't been reading a lot of American comics. I read manga, which is Japanese comics. And there's one I'm reading right now. It's called Jujutsu Kaisen, and the premise of it is that there's cursed energy, which is the hate and the dark energy of humans, manifests itself within curses, and these people called sorcerers, which it's not like magic flinging wands and American magic as you see it westernized. No, these dudes are utilizing about like straight throwing hands and everything else with these demons. And that's what I've been keeping up with. My American comics, more so, hey, here's the next comic panels right here, next 5 panels. I'll wait another week until the next one comes out and read it online. Because keeping up with American comics is so damn hard now, dude.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that the comic books are going away. I'm like, they have their ups and downs. I mean,
I think the main thing that's hurting comics right now is, personally to me, Marvel is getting ruined by Disney. They are they're alienating their crowd that made Marvel what it is. Like, for example, look at the Marvel movies all the way up until Endgame. Absolutely amazing. Went together so well. And then now they're trying to appease to the larger community and all of its sub-communities by putting everything to include everybody into this thing. And it's just like you're doing away with your main categorization of people that loved comics, because now you're trying to include everybody. That's why people love comics, because a lot of these people are like, hey, this makes me feel a certain type of way. This superhero is like, it's you're trying to appease to too broad of a culture, and it's putting too many variables within comics itself.
Actually, I have let me get some. Okay, there we go. Actually, I have a little bit of a theory on that. What it is the acknowledgement of why Disney ended up buying all these properties. Up until I think around about beginning of the 2000s, and I think about 2005. What was Disney more geared for?
Up until that point, Disney, up until about mid 2000s, that's when they were really venturing into that was the Pixar movement, just about.
Well, not going for Pixar or anything like that. What was Disney's main demographic?
And that's a hard one because honestly,
Not that hard.
I don't know.
Girls.
What is it?
Their main demographic were girls.
Yeah.
And they were trying what was happening, and a lot of people were like, if you look into the past a little bit, you can find out why they're doing this and what's really going on.
Mhm.
And it's simple stupid to the point where I'm surprised nobody thought about this. And I'll tell everybody, it's like, listen, I'm retarded. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. How come you guys aren't looking at this? And they're always doing their own little ideas of what's really happening. I was like, and I start looking back. Their main demographic up until the 2000s was girls, females.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they even said in about 2003, 2004 is they wanted to branch into male audience.
Mm-hmm.
And they did do that. That's the reason why they bought Marvel, and that's the reason why they bought Marvel Studios, Marvel in general. Get the IP.
They also have Fox now.
Box.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Disney owned. They don't own Fox Sports, but Disney owns.
Oh yeah,
Fox
they own Fox. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, they also own two bigger branches for men. Like, you could ask any dude in the U.S., hey, do you watch Alien versus Predator? The Alien and Predator franchises are two of the more masculine franchises out there.
Yeah. And they just started buying IPs that had a lot of male audiences. It was more geared for male. Marvel, Star Wars. That was initially. I mean, you did have a couple of females that liked Star Wars. Very rare. Now it's a little bit higher. But what they did wrong. This is what they did wrong. Instead of, and I might get a lot of flack for it, but hey, this is just my opinion. I'm allowed to have it.
First Amendment, baby, use it.
Yeah. What they should have done is kept that IP still geared towards men, male, your male audience. This right here, keep this male audience. Well, girls really like comic books. Yeah, they can pick and choose. They got Miss Marvel. They got Spider-Woman. They got they don't have Wonder Woman. Jean Grey, Storm. I mean, there was a variety of, you didn't have to go through it.
I do believe in the early 2000s they also had She-Hulk before they heavily politicized her as she is now.
Yes. Yeah, and that they're going back and rewriting all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they're doing now. It's like we had they're backing up on a lot of the stuff that they made, and they did make mistakes. I mean, oversaturation was one of it, but it'll come back. I mean, biggest Disney movie that's coming out this summer, and I'm going to it. I'm going to the theaters to see it. Deadpool and Wolverine, baby.
Oh, dude. Well, see, what I love about this is where Disney couldn't mess up, because when Ryan Reynolds signed the contract was very well written by his people, saying that if you want Deadpool 3, and because Deadpool's going to bring in a lot of the universes from Fox into the Disney mainstream. This is where we're going to get X-Men and everything getting included.
This is where we're going to get our Flashpoint.
Exactly. So Ryan Reynolds' saying was, if I'm going to do this, I want creative control. This is my baby. You do not mess with it, and watch it be the best-selling Disney movie that has come out since Endgame has happened. And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, like you said, they're trying to gear it towards these other audiences. Like, my biggest letdown was She-Hulk. That show was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I love She-Hulk in the comics.
Yeah, and when I turn around, like, my thing is, first off, as a kid, I loved comics. and you're over here having She-Hulk. First off, it's like, and nothing against any females, like you said, I might take some heat for it, but the thing is, they feminized that show so much to where they made the stronger male characters look weak. Like you saw that the scene with Hulk and She-Hulk where she's trying to updo the Hulk and she's throwing these boulders and everything. Hulk's like, yeah, no, we're not having that, and just slings it out of the atmosphere. And then I was like, okay, they're drawing back on it a little bit, bringing her in. And then the thing is, this is on Disney Plus. Kids are watching it because it's comics. And now you have She-Hulk out here twerking. I'm like, dude, this is not comics. What are y'all doing? Like, I'm not here to see a giant green lady shake ass. If I wanted to do that, I'd just search up Shrek. Like, this ain't it.
I bet if I could edit that whole thing, I can make it like 100 times better.
Definitely, dude.
But it was she did a lot of fourth wall in the comics. She did a lot of fourth wall break. It was a lot of the comics that she was in. It was very well written. But it's like the whole Echo. Echo's another one.
Mm-hmm.
They screwed over that character. I mean, they did the same thing for in the DC realm with this one really irked me because it's one of my favorite characters was Candace Cain. Candace Cain is she can be Batman. She is that. She doesn't need to speak because she can just go on your movements and know what you're talking about. That's the I think the second iteration of Batgirl. And what they did in Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, once I saw that, I was like, I'm out. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm out.
Oh, dude, Warner Brothers within DC in general, like, I love DC. I grew up Batman, Superman, Flash, like all of it, but the cinematic universe is terrible. Look at Justice League compared to the Snyder Cut. Day and night difference between the two.
No, even worse. Look at the animated stuff. Their animated stuff is. I wish they had the animated writers for that. I mean, look at Green Lantern movie, the live action versus the Green Lantern animated cartoon that came out.
Oh yeah,
Green Lantern First Flight. Dude, it is night and day.
Well, that's the reason Ryan Reynolds shit on Green Lantern when he went back in time in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, to me, like Batman, for example, they keep doing these reiterations of Batman. We're going to get a new guy to play Batman because this one didn't fit. I'm just like, dude, y'all need to get set up. Quit jumping all these guns. Go off of stories we already have and start trying to write your own. If they were to make a Batman Beyond movie, I would shit a brick.
Yeah.
And especially if they were to do a Batman Beyond movie with the Spider-Verse animation, but give it a Neo Tokyo sort of glaze over,
I'm not be bad.
Dude, I'd be, like, that's one of my favorite Batmans.
Yeah.
But you could also make a live action of The Killing Joke, which in my opinion is one of the best animated Batman movies there is.
That pissed me off when they were like doing the Joker. They're like, oh, we're gonna do it like Killing Joke. I was like, yo, don't play with my emotions like that. But they did. They did an animated Killing Joke. I was like, okay, that's spot on. And then they did the Joaquin Phoenix, and everybody's like, oh man, the Joker's good. And it's like, you have no idea how much they crapped on you.
To me, the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, to me was it was one of the million origin stories for the Joker out there. But the only thing that movie gave me was a sense of dread at the very end, because I'm like, holy shit, that was one dark movie right there.
Yeah, it was okay. It was one of those movies. If you took out the Joker, it would have been a decent movie. You didn't have to.
Yeah, you could have planted anyone but the Joker in there, and I think it would have done better because you had the expectations for the Joker without any of the Joker. We didn't see We didn't see the gas. We didn't see the hand buzzer. We didn't see the little acid spitting flower. Like we didn't see like none of this of what made the Joker besides he painted his face and he had a laugh.
Yeah.
That was about it. And I'm like,
But
dude, that
the whole thing though was they said they're gonna do this art type. They're gonna do this. And it's like it's like I think the guy was French. He's like, it's gonna be Killing Joke. I'm like, oh dude, that would be pretty cool. And I watched it. I was like, this is no part Killing Joke. The only thing about it that was Killing Joke, it was the origin story of the Joker. That was it. And it's like I don't want to watch it anymore because I just it's a disappointment of what it should have been.
I'll tell you, if like anyone that loves Batman in action, I forgot what it's called. It's like Batman Ninja or something like that. It's an anime Batman they did where he's like in the days of the samurai.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, it is so damn badass. But they're about to make a Suicide Squad is getting their own anime in Japan. And I watched the trailer for it. And I'm like, this is perfect for Suicide Squad because the difference between Western animation and Japanese animation is that Western animation, we are very censored on a lot of the stuff they put in. For the Suicide Squad, you need unfiltered, you need gore. You have people like, especially Peacemaker, you got to show what he's fully does. Like,
no, you didn't watch the new the Suicide Squad animated movies, did you?
No, not the animated movies.
Watch those, and then you can get back to me on that.
They really delve into it on there. I mean, they need to, man. Like,
yes,
I think that's one thing. Like, Marvel, they don't delve in a lot of that. You know, Marvel's never really been big into it. The more violent thing we got from Marvel in the past couple of years was Moon Knight, and Moon Knight was just Venom too, but Venom is more so Sony doing it than Disney and Marvel doing it.
That's another one I can't wait to watch. Is the next Venom movie that's coming out?
Oh, dude, did you see the trailer with the Venom horse?
Yes, that was awesome.
Dude. I was sitting there playing the game last night. My buddy was like, "Peter, the Vorse is here," and I said, "The Vorse." I love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just any of the new DC animated movies that's came out just recently. I mean, you got Justice League Dark. That was good. Death. They did the Death of Superman, but they do it at like kind of like 52-ish. That was really decent. But all that stuff, man. I mean, Cyborg Superman on the Reign of Superman, he pulls out that thing right in. I was pretty dark, dude. I'll
tell you, what I heard DC is trying to do, not 100%. I heard they're trying to reboot Constantine.
No, they're not rebooting Constantine. The Keanu Reeves is doing it. It's a done deal. Constantine.
Oh, it is.
Movie, yeah, Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like I'm. A lot of studios are starting to do that. They're picking up on older IPs and revamping them. Like one I'm excited for that I haven't heard any progress is Blade. I'm ready for the next Blade movie.
After what I've been hearing, I'm kind of not.
And then I heard the actor, what's his name? Marshall Ali.
Yeah. I wouldn't see him as Blade. That's not my problem. My problem is they already have Blade already done. Mm-hmm. They had it done like last year. They have to redo the whole movie now. Because what's been going on with all their movies like being chunked and everything.
Mm-hmm.
To where it's just crap. So they're revamping everything.
Well, I think that's what's happening with the Spawn movie too.
Spawn movie is kind of a tipsy-turvy on that because it's Todd McFarlane. And
yeah, well, they're also supposed to, because I know who was it supposed to be like Jamie Foxx playing Spawn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with Spawn also, it's a little different with Spawn because Spawn is legit one of the only comics left in existence that is owned by the original studio. Like
Actually,
Spawn
no,
has a
they're
no,
not. It's not owned by the original studio or It's owned. Okay, the way Image Comics was made is anything that you created, you own that IP. Like Walking Dead came out of Image. I think Invincible too. Came out of Image Comics. Man, there's a plethora of stuff that came out of Image Comics, but the actual writers and creators of those comics,
Todd McFarlane still has all rights to Spawn. It's
Yeah.
his.
yeah,
I know they did that. They did one comic with Spawn where he went to hell. Well, of course, he went to hell at Spawn, but he went in like this. I'm paraphrasing and pulling out of thin air from what I remember, but he went to this tower, and in this tower, he saw a whole bunch of like veiled characters, and you could tell who they were. It's like the Joker is in there, some Marvel characters and everything.
Oh yeah,
and then he wanted to save them, and like the whoever was running this show was like, yeah, you can't save them. These are all souls that were pretty much like their souls were already sold off and everything. And it was them lashing back at all the comics selling out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's Spawn. I would love to see a reboot so much. I love Spawn. Keith Davis is one of my all-time favorite voice actors. Like him in the animated series of Spawn was absolutely killer.
I still think Michael J. I still think he could still do it. It's Michael J. White could still do Spawn.
Oh, dude. I'm convinced that dude is just like he's a different level of human in general. Like the dude looks the same as he did 20 years ago. Like you talk about, you look at some people and like, yeah, he could whoop my ass. I would not even try to piss that man off.
Oh no.
Like you watch all the movies with him, like oh man, there was one movie I saw with him. What was it called? Oh man, I know he was in the Never Back Down Town. He was in Never Back Down 2. I
know Blood right here. He was pretty good in.
Yes, there's that one right there. Like the dude's just an absolute badass. Blood and Bone, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay, Blood and Bone, yeah.
And then also he's Black Dynamite, which is one of the most influential people to ever come across TV.
Yeah. No, look up I think it was like Outlaw Johnny Black. I watched that one just recently because dude, Michael J. White, really great actor, and I'm surprised he's not. He's in a lot of He's in a lot of movies, but it's his independent movies that he absolutely shines in because he's one funny mofo.
Well, dude, he has the seriousness, but there's also that humor side to him that makes him a lot more relatable. Because you watch a lot of movies, you're like, man, you're just I can't get behind your character. Like me, that's me with every Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie. Can't watch it because his acting in general. Yeah, that's it. It's just like, oh, here's The Rock. He's gonna be a boat captain, but it's just The Rock in a boat captain suit.
Yeah. The only one that was kind of it was out of character and it showed his acting skills. Well, there's a couple of them. There was what was it? Be Cool. That was one. And the other one was one with him and Kevin Hart, but he's a CIA agent. Because he was
dude, you got me thinking on that one now. Holy shit. I know the one you're talking about. It's so hard to say him and Kevin Hart, though, because that's like every single movie they've done.
Yeah.
Central Intelligence.
Yeah, Central Intelligence. That was a good movie. I like that one. And that he wasn't playing the on the model of characters in that one.
I'll tell you one movie that I actually appreciate him is, have you seen Pain and Gain?
That was another one too. Oh fuck, I forgot about that one too.
Pain and Gain is a badass movie with The Rock, but to me it's just The Rock's overdone. I was watching the Fast and Furious movies the other day where Hobbs first came in, and he has like this thick Western accent, and I'm like, where the hell did that go?
Okay. Here's the thing with the Fast and Furious movies. I mean, I won't pay to go see them. I'll watch them, but I won't pay to go see them ever again. Because it really is. I mean, even Van Diesel said it. He's like, these movies aren't for the actors. I mean, it's about the cars.
They're for the franchise.
The franchise is about the cars. It's not about the people.
Exactly. Like to me, like I stopped on Fast and Furious because the whole thing of, hey, I need you to go do this CIA run and bust down this drug lord or whatever. And then now it's, hey, we're going to space. I'm like, what happened to Tokyo Drift? You know, fix up some cars and do something cool. And now it's just like, I think the tipping point for me was when, where were they? Dubai, where they drove a supercar from one building to the other.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what in the hell? This is not Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is when they pulled up to the street races and you got everybody out there betting money and Ludacris is trying to run all this shit. And like, that's Fast and Furious right there.
Yeah. I had to stop. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous.
Well, it's just like, it's the same thing with Disney and Marvel and everybody else is they're just trying to keep the same thing, but they're beating a dead horse. Like, change it. Quit doing the same thing. It is not working for you. Do something different.
A lot of the stuff, I was like, Marvel had to change up their whole stuff only because of the actor that was playing Kang, Jonathan. What is his last name? Jonathan something.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know if they announced the new King the Conqueror who's going to be.
No, they didn't. What they're going to do, what they might do, or because they haven't really fully finished up the multiverse.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. That whole incident where he was found innocent-ish, I guess. But
well,
they're thinking about doing the main villain being Doom. Which
if they do that, they have to do it right. Doom is my all-time favorite comic book villain, dude. And like, and the reason I love Doom,
I don't think you can call Doom a villain. Honestly,
that's exactly where I was about to go. He's an anti-hero for the right reasons. It's like, you know, you see he's doing all this.
He's a monarch. I mean,
yeah, well, okay, so I wouldn't really call him a hero because everything he's doing is for the betterment of humanity. If you go through like Doom's standalone comic, the reason he gained all this power was because humanity was on a downward spiral and it was going to end and everything was going to be done and all this stuff was going to happen. So he was doing everything right to make sure humanity stayed on track. It made him the bad guy in the eyes of the world, but he did it for the right reasons to help humanity.
Yeah. I mean,
like
you'll
his power alone.
The new Ultimate comics, because Doom's one of the good guys on this one.
Dude, Doom is like my favorite comic book panel ever with Doom is Thanos is face to face with him talking shit. And Doom legit does a Mortal Kombat, grabs Thanos' skull and spine, and eviscerates the entire body around his skull and spine. Like Doom's just like manhandles Thanos in the comics like he's a baby. Like Doom is that guy.
Yeah. God, man, I missed the because I thought it was a good idea for the Iron Doom being Iron Man, Iron Doom.
Mm-hmm.
You read those? That was a good series too.
Well, like I think the hard thing with Disney and them putting Doom in right now is that they're gonna have to do so much backtracking, so much reworking. What they could have done with the King of the Conqueror event they have now, since they don't want to work with him anymore, is put another actor there. And then the thing is, King is infinite timelines, just like Reed Richards was in Multiverse of Madness. He was played by what's his name? Old Jim from The Office, John Krasinski.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you could have an alternate timeline him that just looks different. You can get a new actor to take the place. That's simple.
Okay,
but I think
on that I'm looking at the IDBM with the Fantastic Four movie, which it kind of upsets me that I don't know about that movie, but they're not doing.
Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. I'm hoping it works. I love Pedro Pascal as an actor. Amazing. I loved him in Mandalorian. The Last of Us is an absolute killer show.
Yeah.
But I hope Hollywood does not run him dry because he is such a good actor.
No, what pisses me off is they crapped on who's the guy that played in Reed Richards in Doctor Strange. John,
yeah, that's him.
no, it's not
Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski. I thought he did a wonderful role as not Professor, but Reed Richards.
Oh, amazing job, dude! Like he fit the role. And the thing is about casting Reed Richards, and I think this with a lot of Marvel characters, your upper echelon, your leaders of the groups, you have to put people that show that kind of power, that exude that power. Like with Reed Richards, he's a strong guy, but he's collective, he's smart, he's intelligent, he keeps everything in check. And John did an amazing job at doing that in such a little time.
That's still that really upset me. Everybody's like crapping on it because there's the writing itself. But I was like, he did a good job. You don't understand.
I don't see how people honestly shit on that Doctor Strange movie. It was amazing, dude. Like I thought it was really well played out. Like the cinematic fights, like where him and the other stranger fighting with like the music notes. I was like, that is so cool.
That was very intelligent. I like that. It was one of those things. It just flared up.
Well, but, one Marvel movie that got me was No Way Home. Like, if it wasn't for the nostalgia of having the other Spider-Mans, it wouldn't have succeeded as far.
Oh man, that was a work of art right there. That really was. Because they tweaked it just in way to where you could get a little bit of pieces of each and every movie.
Yeah,
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saving MJ.
Oh, dude, that scene was...
I almost cried.
God, the emotions were so high in that scene.
Oh, man, I almost cried. I was like, he's so happy but sad at the same time.
Do you remember where he was asking the others, Tobey Maguire was asking the other Spider-Man to crack his back because he's having back pain? That's a reference to Spider-Man. Was it 3 where he lost his spider abilities or 2?
2.
I think it was 2. So when he falls out the building,
he did that in Spider-Man 2, but he also did it in Spider-Man 3 because he got clotheslined.
Yeah, his back pain they're referring to is when he falls out the building into the dumpster and he hurts his back.
Yeah,
that's what they're referring to. I was like, dude, the callbacks are just phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I am sleepy tired now. I already told you what I ended up doing today.
You're good, brother.
But we'll go ahead and end this, and I'll get back with you when you got time. I got plenty of time. But anyways,
sounds good, bro.
Everybody, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching, and just keep on watching, man. Thank you all for that actually listens and comment, like, whatever, share it. Later.
Appreciate you, brother.